Hello, and welcome to Your Vote Counts. I'm Bernadine Anderson from the League of Women Voters, bringing you today this public, nonpartisan voter service program. The 2020 general election interviews are made possible through Capital Community Media via remote technology and in collaboration with the leagues of Oregon and throughout Marion and Polk counties. For this race, all candidates were invited, and the candidates did not receive the questions ahead of time, which were developed by the League of Women Voters, American Association of University Women, and neighborhood associations. The candidates were asked to prepare a 3-minute statement telling about themselves, their qualifications, and their vision for the office if they're elected. Today, we will be speaking with candidate Taylor Rickey, who is running for the office of Oregon District Senate District number 10. Mr. Rickey, would you like to begin your remarks?
Absolutely. Thank you. First off, I appreciate you guys having me here so I can have the chance to talk to the voters of District 10. A little bit about me. My name is Taylor Rickey, and I am the Libertarian candidate for Oregon Senate District 10. It represents West Salem, South Salem, Independence, Almsville, Turner. A lot of people don't know what a libertarian is, but it's somebody who believes in limited government and believes in all your freedom and rights all the time. A libertarian is an advocate for small government and a defender of the greatest minority, which is the individual. A little bit about me is I'm a family man. I've been married to my wife, Jennifer, for 6 years. I have 3 beautiful stepdaughters and our son together, who's 5 years old. I'm a stay-at-home dad, made possible by my wife, Jennifer, being a nurse. I have the opportunity to do the hardest and yet most rewarding job I've ever had in my life is being a stay-at-home dad. I have always loved politics, whether it's learning about them in history or in current events today. In 2018, I was the communication director for Nicholas Chen's gubernatorial run, and I am a member of the Marion and Polk County Libertarian Affiliate. I'm running for state senate because I want to solve some of the biggest issues facing Oregon today. We have an increasingly overbearing tax burden. We have government overreach, a homeless epidemic, and bipartisan gridlock, and a broken criminal justice system that needs to be reformed. So when I'm elected, those are the things that I want to focus on the most. And that's a little bit about myself.
Thank you very much. We'll begin our questions then. Our first one today is, by what methods or strategies would you propose to increase the ability and willingness of senators to work together on legislation?
Like that goes down to the bipartisan gridlock. I think a lot of it comes down to they feel like they need to vote along party lines. So like if Republicans need to vote the Republican way and Democrats need to vote the Republican way, and a lot of that infighting prevents us from moving Oregon forward. Getting a libertarian in there or somebody that's not beholden to party politics will help advance that. And also having honest communication. We should have them all working for the betterment of Oregon as opposed to advancing their political agendas.
Okay, our next question. Considering these fires of 2020, what do you think forest care will look like in the future? What are your major worries?
Hopefully we can bring logging back in and get some of the trees that need to go before they burn up and cause more massive wildfires. Hopefully we can put in place more measures for forest management, if that includes taking out dead underbrush, thinning the forests, to prevent these wildfires that are more catastrophic than logging is. I think a lot of it will boil down to stopping the fires before they happen and mitigating them when they come. Don't let them burn for weeks before we finally tackle them.
Okay, thank you. We'd like to ask you to explain the concept of cap and reduce, which is being suggested to address climate change and greenhouse gases. You may have some other ideas as well.
It's a tax. To me, it's a tax, plain and simple. And I feel like it's a way to generate revenue for the state as opposed to actually doing anything to mitigate climate change. I think one of the things that we need to do is, as opposed to forcing compliance, is encourage green initiatives and encourage businesses to reduce carbon emissions as opposed to forcing them to change. So I'm big in markets and let the markets dictate. Personally, if I had a choice between picking or going to a business that took the environment seriously or one that didn't, I would go to the one that took the environment seriously because it is a serious issue.
Thank you. What would your priority issues be? You've mentioned a few, and then what committees would you like to serve?
I would like to serve on the Ways and Means Committee. I want to see how our money is being spent and make sure that it's being spent in the most responsible way possible. Another thing I would like to address is our criminal justice system. From the policing to the judicial to the penal system, the whole thing needs reformed. And what the systems that we have in place, they just hadn't been working for decades. And it's time to address that meaningfully and tripartisanly. It's not a Republican issue or a Democrat issue or even a libertarian issue. It's an Oregon issue that needs to be addressed. And the biggest one is I want to help end the homeless epidemic that's plaguing our streets. In District 10 specifically, we have seen a boom in homelessness because of COVID-19. They opened up Wallace Marine Park to camp out there. And then because of that, there's been an uptick in crime here in West Salem where I live. And I want to help alleviate that issue and make our communities safer, not just for people that own houses, but for everybody.
Okay. Somewhat related to especially homeless concerns is that about healthcare. So could you describe key elements to a healthcare program in Oregon?
For healthcare, I think we need to focus it not so much on forcing health insurance being bought. I think healthcare is important to address the mental health crisis many Oregonians face, as well as the coronavirus and other pandemics if they arise. So health plays an important role, but I don't think the government is the most efficient tool to dictate that. I think healthcare needs to be more accessible by letting more facilities open up and not have them ran by the government. It needs to be more private clinics that take care of the community as opposed to having a style like the VA or Oregon Health Authority coming in and making a mess of things.
Okay. Do you agree that the legislature should pass campaign finance reform for Oregon? And what would that look like, or what areas would it address?
I don't agree. And I'm a minor party, so it's a lot harder for me to raise funds for advertisement, yard signs, pretty much anything. But the government shouldn't tell people how they can spend their money. If I'm a millionaire and I want to give my money to a politician, I should have that right. I don't think the government has a right to step in and say how people spend their money. And that's coming from a minor party because, which I would like to see it be a level playing field, but at the same time, you can't control what other people do with their money. And so, no, I oppose campaign refinance laws.
Okay. Let's look at agriculture and the lands. How do you think that agriculture lands can be protected while we're addressing population growth and other factors?
Sorry, can you make that, so how to balance farmland and the housing needs? Is that where we're?
That's fine. Yeah, go ahead with that.
All right, good. I just want to make sure I'm clear on the question.
Sure.
Obviously, agriculture is an important part in Oregon, from the vineyards and wineries to Christmas tree farms. Oregon's very big on agriculture, but we do have a housing crisis. So I would end some of the zoning laws that prohibit building of more houses along some of those agricultural areas, but balance it out. And I think it's, I'm sorry, I'm stumbling. I did not prepare for this question. I apologize.
That's all right.
No, I actually haven't thought much, but there needs to be a balance between keeping our agriculture and providing affordable housing for people in Oregon. So I would try to balance that out by buying the farmland at an above market cost to develop those lands, because it would pay off in the long run. And I hope that's satisfactory. That's just off the top of my head. I would need to do more research.
That's fine. Thank you for tackling it. Our last question is on the topic of redistricting. You know, it didn't make it on the ballot, and I wonder what your thoughts are about that process, and if you think there's any changes needed.
Absolutely. Redistricting should not be a political issue. That's how we get the gerrymandering. We just need a nonpartisan committee to draw district lines based on population, and that's all. I mean, some of these districts just look obscene. So I believe that we need to redistrict with a nonpartisan committee. So that would be my suggestion.
Thank you, candidate Rickey, for our interview today and for sharing your views and your proposals.
Thank you so much for having me. And if you want to learn more, please visit my website, Taylor4Oregon2020.com.
Thanks also to Capital Community Media for their time and their expertise in creating this program and making it available across the state through YouTube and Vote 411. Thank you to the several leagues of women voters, American Association of University Women, Salem City Club, and neighborhood associations for being our interviewers and for suggesting questions. And thank you to you, the public, for watching your vote counts and in order to become a more informed voter. For more voter information, including dates, registration, all the candidates for state and local areas, and ballot measure information, please go online to vote411.org. You have until October 13 to register to vote or to make address changes. Beginning on October 14th, the ballots will be mailed out. And that very special day, November 3rd, is our election day. Please remember that postmarks don't count. Elections matter, and they make a difference in our lives. So remember to vote, because your vote counts.